Hello guys, and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Metse Manaka, and today we are still on quantity surveying info. So today we are going to look at plane opening. I know we have different kinds of opening. It can be a window opening or a door opening, but today we are going to look at a door opening. Now on the door opening, we have specifications to follow, which they say the size of plane opening 1200 times 1900 millimeter, brick in stretcher bond, external plaster, internal plaster, 2 coats of good quality paint, 15 megapascal concrete, 75 millimeter concrete surface bed, 110 times 75 millimeter standard concrete lintel with bearing of 200 millimeter. Reveals and soffit are plastered. 20 millimeter screed floor, 76 millimeter South African pine skirting with 2 coats enamel paint. Take off the plane opening including all adjustments. Okay guys, so on your plane opening calculation, you also have a checklist to follow. You have a checklist. Now on your checklist, you're going to have deduction of a wall, external wall finishing, and internal wall finish. And then on the addition, we have the threshold, the reveals, soffit, lintel, right? Now we're going to start with the first one. Now you open. The first one is a wall. You're going to deduct a wall. Now you're going to say 1 brick wall, right? 1 brick wall as before and as before, right? And external external cement. What is wrong with me? Cement plaster as before. And also you're going to deduct 2 coats PVA paint on external plaster, Now you're going to take the height of the plane opening. The height of the plane opening is 1900 from the specification, right? Now we have 1900. You're going to add 75 millimeter. 75 millimeter is the thickness of surface bed. Now 75 millimeter of surface bed, and then you are going to have 1975, right? And then you're going to take this answer to the dimension column. When you're taking it to the dimension column, you're going to say the length of opening. the length of plane opening, which is 1200, right? Multiply by the answer that you've got from the length of the height, adding 75 millimeter, which is the surface bed, which is 1975. Sorry, now you have 1,98, right? And then you are done. You're going to close it and then open for another one. On the second one, we're going to deduct internal plaster as before. We're going to deduct internal plaster as before, right? And then we are going to have the length of the opening on the dimension column. We have the length of the opening, which is 1200. It's going to be 1.20 multiplied by the height of the opening, which is this one. It's 1900, so it's going to be 1,90. And then you are done. You're going to close this one and open another one, right? So we are going to the third one. Now on the third one, we have to deduct two coats. We have to deduct two coats PVA paint on internal plaster. On internal plaster. Now what we are going to do, we are going to take the height of the opening, which is 1900. We are going to subtract the thickness of the surface bed, which is 75 millimeter. And now we are going to have 1825. Now we are going to take this answer. You're going to take this answer here. You multiply it by the length of the opening in here in the dimension column. So you're going to have the length of the opening, which is 1200, multiply by the number you've got from height of opening, subtracting the thickness of the surface bed. You got 1825, so it's going to be 1,83. Right, now you close this one because you're done with it, and you open another one. We have the fourth one. We have 19 millimeter times 75 millimeter South African pine skirting, and we are going to deduct two coats enamel paint on skirting surface. Okay, you're going to come to page 2. Remember, this one is page 1, this is page 2. Skirting surface not exceeding 300 millimeter width. So on this one, you're just going to take out the length of the opening, which is 1200, and then you close, and then you open for another one. Now we are on the threshold. The threshold, whatever you say it or whatever you call it. We are on the threshold. On the threshold, we are going to add 15 megapascal concrete surface bed as before. Now we are going to take the length of the opening, which is 1200, multiplied by the thickness of the wall, which is 220, 0.22, multiplied by the thickness of the slab or the surface bed, which is 75, 0.08. Right, let me show you how I got all these things. So this is where I got my collections. This is the length of the opening, which is 1200, and multiplied by the thickness of the wall. The thickness of the wall, I mean from here to here, which is 220. When you divide it by 1000, that's going to be 0.22. And then the thickness of the surface bed is from here to here, which is 75. Right, you're going to divide it by 1000, it's going to give you 0.075. Right, so this is where I got all my dimensions, or taking off whatever. Right, now because you're done with this one, you're going to close and open for another one. We are going to take off the formwork. We're going to take off the formwork, 2 edges of threshold, 2 edges of threshold, not exceeding 300 millimeter high. Right, we're just going to take off the length of the opening, which is 1200, and then you are done. You close, you open for another one, for another calculation, or for another taking off. Now you have to take off 20 millimeter cement screed as before, horizontal surface, horizontal surface. Now on this one, you have the length of the opening, which is 1200, and you're going to multiply it by the thickness of the wall, which is 0.22. Let me show you again in case you forgot. You're going to take the length of the opening, plain opening, which is 1200, multiplied by the thickness of the wall, which is 220. You're going to multiply these two on the dimension column. Now when you're done with it, you're going to close and open for another one. The next one, you're going to take off dito to isolated slab vertical surface. By the way, ditto means the same as this one, but now this one was horizontal, now it's vertical surface, right? So on this one, on the vertical one, we are going to take off the length of the opening, which is 1200, multiplied by the thickness of the surface bed, which is 75. We're going to have 0.08, right? And then when you're done with it, you close and open for another one. We have okay, sorry, we are not going to open for another one. You're going to take off the reverse. On the reverse, you're going to take off, now this is where you open, you're going to take off external plaster to brick wall, external plaster to brick wall, in narrow width and 2 coats PVA paint to external plaster, not exceeding 300 millimeter wide, right? You're going to take off the thickness of the wall, which is 220 and 0.22, multiply it by the length of the opening, which is 1.20, multiply both of these by 2. These 2 stand for 2 sides, for both sides of the floor plan or of your house or whatever. Multiply this 2 by 2, right? And now you are done with it. You're going to close it and open for another one. Now you have external cement plaster to soffit. You have external cement plaster to soffit. You're going to take off the length of the opening, which is 1200. You're going to multiply it by the thickness of the wall, which is 0.22, and then you are done. You close and you open for another one, which is 76 millimeter times 19 millimeter South African pine skirting as before, and 2 coats enamel paint on skirting, not exceeding 300 millimeter width. Now this is the thickness of wall times 2 sides. Thickness of the wall is 0.22, sorry, times 2 sides, and then you close, you open for another one. Now we have, oh, you're not opening, sorry, I keep on making a mistake here on the opening. Now you're going to calculate the sorry, my mistake. You're going to calculate the lintel, right? Now on the lintel, this is where you're going to open. On the lintel, you have 100 times 75 millimeter precast concrete lintel, not exceeding 3.0 meter length, right? And then you have length of opening, which is 1200, minus, you're going to subtract 2 times 200. This 200, it is the concrete lintel bearing from the specifications. If you can go back and look at the specifications, they have mentioned that the concrete lintel bearing is 200. So you're going to say 1200, which is the length of opening, minus 2 times the concrete lintel bearing, and then you're going to have 800, and then you're going to take this 800 to the dimension coulomb, multiply it by 2 sides, right? Now you're going to take this 800 divided by 1000. You're going to have 0.8 0.80 multiplied by 2 sides, right? And then you are done with your plane opening. You are done taking off all the dimensions in the plane opening, right? So this is it. I hope everyone understand these calculations here, and thank you for watching this video. Please like and subscribe. See you next time. Thank you.